Greetings, demons, and welcome to One Weekly, episode 98. We don't have too much to talk about, what we do have is pretty good, so let's just jump into it and discuss the topics.
Not the leader of a cult, RabbitWithAxe.
And starting out in the world of Horus Heresy, some 30k for Heresy Thursday, we have the Vampiric cohort, and yeah, it's more Mechanicum stuff, very interesting little... I want to just always call them mecha, and I think I'm just going to start ignoring the actual lore of 40k in that respect, and just refer to them as such. But yeah, we have some little mecha boys, some little robot boys, and these guys are pretty interesting. They have a very, like, 40k design idea to them. Like, they actually kind of look like they would fit in a 40k scenario, maybe not in mainstay 40k, but in one of the spin-offs maybe. But, yeah, they are very... in terms of 40k, modern looking, which is kind of interesting to see for a 30k model. But yeah, nice variety here. We've got a variety of different poses, different claw attachments, stuff like that. Very interesting. They remind me of, what are they called? Stalkers? It doesn't really matter, but, yeah, some very interesting little robot boys, and, at the end of the day, like, Mechanicum and Mechanicus and, Cult Mechanicum, whatever you want to call it, really needs more stuff like this. That's just like generically like cool robotic stuff. Regardless of the lore, regardless of like whether it's supposed to actually be, a human brain in a robot shell or whatever, it's just regardless of anything like that, stuff like this is excellent. And just having little robots you can just paint up, even if you're not necessarily wanting to play 30k, you're not wanting to play Mechanicum of any kind, like having stuff like this is really cool. People like painting the little robots, and like. At the end of the day, the thing that got me back into 40k, 3-4 years ago, whatever, was the stealth suits from Tau. Because I saw them and I was like, that's some little robots that I can paint. That seems fun to me. This was after I hadn't touched Warhammer in probably a decade. And when I was, it was a little bit of Space Marines, and that was really it. I had no real outside interest or knowledge of anything else. I played the video games between, but when it came to the actual modelling, it's stuff like this that got me interested again. It was stuff like this, all the different Tau mechs, all the different, larger, dreadnoughts and stuff from Space Marines and stuff. That is what actually gets me interested. So, very exciting to see yet more little robots to, potentially buy, potentially paint. Even if I'm not, I'm not a huge fan of Mechanicus. I'm not a huge fan of Mechanicum. It just, stuff like this is neat to me. And I really do like the option out there to just be able to buy a little robot and just paint them. Just paint little robots. I think that's a really fun thing. And, yeah, that is all I can really say about the Vampiric cohort. Pretty cool little guys. And moving over to the Age of Sigmar, we have the Blades of the Hollow King for the Soulblight Gravelords. And, this is 3 pretty interesting named characters. As always with Age of Sigmar, when it's not, like, a faction I personally care about, I'm not going to get into too much detail with these guys. But I will say they all look pretty interesting. I like... the first guy with the ghost around him, like the spirit with the dagger, is very interesting. I love the posing of him pulling the sword out and everything. Obviously, Soulblight, it is the less interesting to me side of it. It is the vampires. I'm much more a fan of the more zombie or skeleton side of Soulblight. But yeah, honestly, pretty cool here. I love the dragon iconography as well. You'll see that on some of the other models as well. We also have another vampire with some bats on a tree, bit of a running running pose, should I say. Looks alright. I don't love her hair. The fact there's like chopsticks in it is kind of interesting though, in a way. Probably the most boring of the 3, because our final model here has a giant 2-headed snake? Or 2 giant snakes? I'm not actually completely sure. This guy is fascinating. His staff has a little, lizard eye on it, and the weird helmet he's wearing, just so many odd aspects of this character. And obviously these all are from the Hollow King and the Dead Kingdom books, but yeah, very interesting designs overall, and genuinely 3 very nice models. If I was a bigger Soulblight Gravelords fan, or a vampire fan, specifically in Soulblight Gravelords, these are really cool. These are really neat models, and I'm sure, if you are a fan of this faction, this, selection of models is going to be perfect for you, or if you are a fan of the books and just really want to be able to paint up, your favourite characters or whatever from them, that's always a really good reason to pick up these sorts of packs, and these Black Library releases are always really fun. Obviously, we currently have, I don't know if it's, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the Black Library, like, event week thing ongoing currently, so a lot of stuff about various models based on book characters are, getting released. Nothing new other than what we're looking at right now, but, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on show right now, and it is really fun being able to, actually get yourselves models from books that you've read. Like, I have been, for a little while, I say a little while, for a very long while, I've been building a very small diorama based on Assassinorum Kingmaker, which is up there as one of my favourite 40k books in general, up there with Xenos, I guess. Xenos is probably actually my favourite. But that being said, like, I really do like these sorts of things, and the ability to actually just get exact, like, visual copies, essentially, of the characters that you have read about is really, really fun, and this is just another great example of that. So, yeah, there we go, the Blades of the Hollow King. Very interesting models, and I'm sure if you are a Soul Black Gravelords fan, you're going to really enjoy them. And that leaves us with our final topic of the week, which, of course, is the Rumour Engine for the 18th of February 2025, and it's some sort of satchel, seemingly made from the head of somebody. It's hard to tell whether it's actually supposed to be, like, a container, or whether this is supposed to be some sort of, like, brain bowl? I don't know, like, for actually eating the brain of something? I'm very confused by what this is. I definitely would lean into this being from AOS. I doubt... I don't really think it fits into, 40k or 30k or anything. It could obviously be Old World as well, but I kind of doubt that just because it's a little bit over-detailed for what Old World usually gives us, but... yeah, very interesting. We do have a blade next to it, which is what makes me think it's a satchel. But at the same time, it almost looks like, something's being eaten out of it. It's a very interesting thing to look at. And I'm not really sure what to think of it. It's potentially like Shrunken Head satchel sort of thing. That's what I'm, leaning towards. But also, like, the bone sticking out could be like a makeshift spoon. And there's like the goop inside could be any number of things, but it could also legitimately be food or whatever. Like, well, I guess we'll see when we actually get this reveal and actually get to see it, coloured and painted and everything. The fact that there's a shoddily made blade next to it is kind of like throwing me off a little bit. But yeah, it could honestly be Oryx. I feel like it would fit pretty well for that. Obviously, anything Chaos within AOS would probably suit this pretty well as well. And there's a lot of different factions that could have something like this. I'm just very confused as to what exactly its purpose is, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see on what exactly it is. But yeah, definitely an interesting Rumour Engine, it's gotta be said, and yeah, that's all we can say about it. But on that note, that's going to be it for this episode of Warhammer Weekly. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new to and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Otherwise, comment below your thoughts and feelings on any of the topics discussed in this video. You fan of the new Blades of the Hollow King? Or actually the Ursarax. I think they're pretty cool. As I say, I like my little robots. But yeah, tell me anything, talk about the Rumour Engine as well in the comments below. And otherwise, links in the description as always to the articles that I've discussed. And I'll see you next time. Bye! Look at the screen!